Alright, what's up everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today we're going to be recapping last night's NBA slate of games. We had a lot of games, a lot of good games, a lot of performances I want to talk about here in this video today. And yeah, we're going to get into it. Thank you guys for views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy the content around here, consider subscribing, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. We upset a lot. We're almost at 400 subscribers. We're literally like 2 subscribers away from 400. So yeah, if you like the content, hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it a whole lot. If you miss any other recap or any other day, you can go back and watch that on the channel. Link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, I don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the first game we had was Pistons and Magic. The Magic win this game 123-91. They have a big second quarter, outscoring Detroit 30-21, and then 35-24 in the third. And yeah, the Magic do their thing. They now are 15-7. Detroit falls to 2-20 game losing streak for Detroit. Team stats: Orlando shot 55% from the field, Detroit shot 42%. Orlando hit 10 threes, Detroit hit just 6 threes. Orlando also forced 15 Detroit turnovers and out-assisted them 26-16 for Orlando. 27 for Franz Wagner, shot 12 for 20 from the field. Paolo at 24 and 9 for 17 shooting. Cole Anthony 16 and 6 assists off the bench. Goga Badase had 13 and 8 with 4 blocks, and Gary Harris had 11. Yeah, Orlando just really did whatever they wanted out there to Detroit, especially second quarter on. They really just dominated defensively. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league, and they were just locking down Detroit. They scored less than 100 points. Detroit did not shoot well from the field, and Orlando got the win for Detroit. 21 for Kate Cunningham, shot 8 for 15. 16-7-4 for Killian Hayes. 14 for Alec Burks off the bench. Yeah, it's Detroit. They're not good. About 20. It's about to be 20 in a row. They play their next game is against Indiana on Monday. And if Indiana coming off the NCAA tournament championship game, I don't see how they lose that game. Yeah, man, Detroit. We know what's going on with Detroit, man. They're bad. They're really bad. Next, we had the Hawks and the 76ers. The 76ers win this game 125-114. Even though the Hawks, without Trae Young, put up a fight. Sixers had a big first quarter, but then the Hawks outscored Philly 45-27 in the second. Then the second half, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey really take over this game. Atlanta just doesn't have enough. Sixers now go to 14-7. The Hawks fall to 9-12. They lost 3 games in a row, 3 games under 500 now. Atlanta is really struggling. Team stats: Philly shot 48% from the field. Atlanta shot 39%. The Sixers were 30 for 37 from the free throw line. Hawks were just 19 for 21. Philly also forced 13 Atlanta turnovers for the Sixers. Joel Embiid 38 and 14 with 4 blocks, shot 12 for 24, 13 for 15 for free throw line. Absolutely dominated in this game, especially the third quarter. He had a big quarter. Tyrese Maxey also at 30 points, 7 assists, shot 8 for 18. He was 10 for 12 from the free throw line as well. Those two really dominated this game. D'Anthony Melton also had 15, 6 and 5, 13 and 8 for Tobias Harris, and Kelly Oubre with 11 off the bench. Nice to see him coming back and contributing right away. But yeah, Philly took advantage. Atlanta didn't have Trae Young, and Philly really just took advantage, getting to the free throw line. Their defense was really good. Atlanta's offense just really couldn't go. Of course, Trae Young has the ball in his hands a lot for Atlanta, so without their main guy, it was just kind of trying to find some things to work, and it didn't really work. For Atlanta, DeAndre Hunter at 24-7, Bogdan Bogdanovic 20-9, DeJounte Murray at 29 assists. I would expect him to have a little bit of a better game. 16-8 for Saddiq Bey, who shot 6 for 20 from the field, and then 15-16 for Clint Capella. Yeah, Atlanta's now under 500, 9-12. Things aren't looking great. They're inconsistent a little bit shooting wise. Defensively, they're not good either. It's just, yeah, tough time in Atlanta, really. Still trying to figure out things, and it's just not really working for the Hawks. I don't really know what to do about it either. It's not working. Next, we have Raptors and Hornets. Hornets win this game 119-116. It was actually a very close game. Hornets got off to a really good start. Then Toronto outscored Charlotte 39-29 in the fourth quarter. But Terry Rozier, some big shots, and they win. Charlotte goes to 7-13. Raptors fall to 9-13. Team stats: Hornets shot 56% from the field. Toronto shot 51%. The Hornets hit 13 threes. Raptors hit just 6 threes in this. And the Raptors did out-rebound the Hornets, though, 42-31, including 14 offensive boards. Hornets get this win. Hornets have 4 players score 20 or more. Gordon Hayward was the leading scorer with 24 points, shot 10 for 15 from the field. Miles Bridges had 22-8, 21-13 assists for Terry Rozier, really dominating out there. And then Brandon Miller also had 20 points. He had some big shots late too. He had 4 threes. And then off the bench, Nick Richards had 15-8, and PJ Washington had 11 points. Good all-around team win for Charlotte. Of course, they're not going to have LaMelo for a little while, but it was a good team win. Terry Rozier was scoring, but also facilitating passing, which is something he doesn't really do that often. Gordon Hayward being efficient. Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller getting theirs. Even Nick Richards and PJ Washington off the bench. Like, this was a really good team win for Charlotte. Even though they did let up in the fourth quarter, but again, really good team win from Charlotte. They actually are a decent team-ish, when they're playing like this. Then for Toronto, Scotty Barnes, 31, 10, and 10, shot 12 for 18. He did miss a free throw late that would have, tied this game up. He's 4 for 8 for the free throw line, 5 turnovers as well. Pascal, 25 and 5 on 11 for 15 shooting, 17 and 10 for Precious Achiuwa off the bench, and then OG Anunoby had 11 points. He had a tough shooting day, was 3 for 12 and 0 for 6 from 3. Tough loss for Charlotte. For Toronto, OG Anunoby, Dennis Schroeder, Gary Trent also all did not shoot well. It was really Pascal, Siakam. Scotty and Siakam really balling for Toronto. Scotty with a 30-point triple-double. Pascal had a good game on a good efficiency. Just didn't really get any help. If they got one more guy like OG or Dennis Schroeder, I think, that would hit their shots, they probably would have won this game. But credit to Charlotte, Next, we have the Wizards and the Nets. The Nets won this game 124-97. It was actually a close first half. But then the third quarter, the Nets outscored the Wizards 40-24. From then on out, just Wizards could not stop it. The Nets now go to 12-9. They've won 3 games in a row. They're doing their thing, while the Wizards are 3-18. They've lost 4 in a row. Looking at team stats, Brooklyn shot 48% from the field. Wizards shot 42%. The Nets hit 10 threes, Wizards hit 6 threes. Brooklyn forced 15 Washington turnovers, and they rebounded Washington 55-41, including 18 offensive boards for the Nets. Miles Bridges was leading scorer. Mikal Bridges was leading scorer for the Nets, 21 points, shot 9 for 15 from the field. Cam Thomas had 17 points on 7 for 19 shooting, 14 and 9 assists for Spencer Dinwiddie with 4 steals. He had a pretty solid game. Dameron Sharp off the bench, 15, 11, and 4. Nick Claxton had 13 and 15, and Royce O'Neal 13, 8, and 5 off the bench. Really good overall team win for Brooklyn. The rebounding, the big men, Nick Claxton and Dameron Sharp both dominating out there. Of course, the Wizards are one of the smaller teams in the league, if not maybe the smallest team in the league. Danilo Gallinari is their backup center. Mike Muscala is also out there. Mike Muscala isn't a guy that's, around the paint. He's more of trying to get his threes. And even Daniel Gafford, he tries, but Daniel Gafford is only like 6'9", so he's not even a big center. So the Nets really just took advantage of that, rebounding, getting second chance opportunities, and making that count. In the second half, they really turned up. For Washington, 17 for Kyle Kuzma, shot 8 for 17 from the field, 15, 7, and 4 for Danny Avdija. Tyus Jones at 14, and Bilal Coulibaly 11 and 10 rebounds off the bench. He was actually pretty good out there. Bilal Coulibaly showed some things. Energy, defense, obviously. Shooting hasn't been bad either. It's just more about, getting stronger, creating for himself, being more consistent. But Bilal Coulibaly's nice, but the Wizards, they suck defensively. They're just really bad defensively. They let the Nets score 40 in a quarter on them. Defensively, they're just bad, Next, we have the Knicks and Celtics. Celtics win this game 133-123. They have a big third quarter, second half. They put up 41 in the second quarter, then 35 in the third quarter. The Knicks try to make a comeback, but the Celtics just put them away. They go to 16-5, number 1 in the East, and the Knicks fall to 12-9. Team stats, Boston shot 53% from the field, Knicks shot 50%. Celtics hit 19 threes this game. Knicks hit 15 though, but Boston forced 13 New York turnovers. For the Celtics, Derek White, 30 points, shot 10 for 16, 6 for 10 from 3. He's probably the best role player in the NBA right now. He just does whatever he wants to help the team win. Defensively, he's there, one of the better defensive guards. And then offensively, his 3 balls become really good. He just gets it in the flow of his offense, in the flow of their offense, and he was balling last night, making all the big plays. 25, 6, and 5 for Jason Tatum. 21 for Porzingis in his first game back in a little while. That's big. But Porzingis is out there. It's a whole different team. It feels like Jaylen Brown had 17 points. He got ejected in the third quarter. Then Al Horford had 14 and 10 off the bench. Boston just really dominated this game defensively and doing all the little things. Their 3 ball was also falling a lot. Derek White gave me 30, and Drew Holiday also had 16, 6, and 5, by the way. But they just dominated this game. Energy. Their energy was a lot higher than the Knicks. The Knicks, they forced a lot of turnovers. Defensively, they were locked in. That's really how Boston did. And the 3 ball was falling as well. So when they're defensively locked in, the 3 balls falling, you're not going to beat them. For New York, Jalen Brunson, 23 points, shot 8 for 17. RJ had 23. Randall had 25 and 3 with 6 turnovers. He made some not great decisions in this game. Julius Randle. The bench, Mayor quickly at 17. Quentin Grimes at 13, now coming off the bench, which maybe fits him more. Zane Hartenstein at 16 rebounds off the bench. Mitch Robinson at 10 points. The Knicks just didn't look, they shoot a lot of more threes than usual, and they made them last night. 15 threes, 50% from the field isn't bad. It was just the turnovers and not hitting big shots when they needed to. That really was the downfall of the New York Knicks in this game. Boston took full advantage of it. Next, we got Timberwolves and Grizzlies. The Wolves won this game 127-103. Minnesota 17-4 now. I think they're the hottest team in the NBA right now, where they won 6 games in a row. They're number 1 in the NBA. And the Grizzlies fall to 6-15. They have a big third quarter, outscoring Memphis 38-24. Looking at team stats, Minnesota shot 50% from the field. Memphis shot 43%. Minnesota was 24 for 26 on the free throw line. The Grizzlies were 14 for 19. Minnesota out-rebounded the Grizzlies 54-28 with 15 offensive boards, just dominating the offensive glass. Well, the glass in general. And they also had 8 blocks in this one. For Minnesota, they had 7 players score in double figures. And Anthony Edwards only played 4 minutes of this game. He re-aggravated that hip injury that he suffered a few days ago that he missed a game or two with. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Probably going to sit out a little while longer, which sucks. But Minnesota still got it done. Karl-Anthony Towns 24-7-5 off 7-for-14 shooting. Troy Brown Jr. has been really good off the bench for Minnesota. 20 points, shot 4 for 6 and 3, 8 for 10 from the field. 19 and 7 assists for Mike Conley in his old stopping grounds in Memphis. Shake Milton off the bench has 17 points in 22 minutes. Rudy Gobert 16 points, 20 boards, 6 blocks. A vintage Rudy Gobert game. 14 for Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He had 4 threes, and Naz Reid at 10 and 9 off the bench. Yeah, Minnesota really just dominated the third quarter. Defensively, they were locked in, and then when you get 7 players scoring double figures and your star player doesn't really play, that just shows what kind of team this is. The bench has been very, very good. Even though Kyle Anderson, one of their better bench players, didn't have a good game. He was 2 for 11 in the field. It still didn't matter because the bench gave you 30. Well, they gave you the bench gave you 60 points, more than 60 points. That's if you're gonna win games like that, man. Minnesota is really locked in right now. Defensively, of course, they could do, but offensively, they're starting to lock in. Even without Anthony Edwards, they're still balling. They're hitting threes. Everybody's contributing. Everyone has a good role for themselves, and it's just great to see. For Memphis, Jaren at 21 points, shot 7 for 14 from the field. Desmond Bane has 16 points, 6 for 13 shooting. David Roddy had 13, and Xavier Tillman had 12. And Santi Aldama had 9, 10, and 6 off the bench. But again, Minnesota, they're a tough team to beat. They're a really tough team to beat. But for Memphis though, bright side, Ja is back in a few days. Ja, only 4 games left, and John Morant will be eligible to come back, so that's a good sign, I guess. Next are the Cavs and the Heat. The Cavs won this game 111-99. Heat got off to a great start, but then the Cavs outscored Miami 36-27 in the second, and then 35-23 in the third to get this win. They go to 13-9. They've won 3 in a row. The Heat fall to 12-10. Team stats: Cleveland shot 46% from the field. Miami shot 43%. The Cavs are 17 for 26 on the free throw line. Heat were 10 for 15. Cleveland forced 18 Miami turnovers and out-rebounded Miami 51-37 with 12 offensive boards. For the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell 27, 13, and 6, shot 9 for 17 from the field. Dominated from the second half on. Even though the shooting and scoring wasn't there all the time, he was doing other things, playmaking, rebounding, doing all the other stuff. Darius Garland at 18 and 6 assists with 4 steals. He had a big second half after being in foul trouble in the first half. George Niang had 13 points off the bench, and then Max Strus had 11 and 7. Great win for Cleveland, even without Evan Mobley in this game and without Karis LeVert, 2 of their better players. They still come in and face a Miami team who also didn't have Bam Adebayo, who's going to be out for a little while. But they still came in and did their thing, especially after Miami got off to a hot start. Josh Richardson and Kevin Love were knocking down shots. The Miami bench came in and changed the game. But then Cleveland just, took that, and they came back. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, George Niang, guys like Isaac Okoro, Craig Porter, Sam Merrill, came in and just brought it back. And then the third quarter they got out to a hot start and just didn't look back from then on. For Miami, Kyle Lowry 17 points, shot 6 for 13. Josh Richardson has 17 points. He was 5 for 7 from 3. 16 for Jimmy Butler. He was just 5 for 15. Had a very quiet game out there. 15 for Caleb Martin. 14 and 12 for Kevin Love off the bench. And 14 for Jaime Jaquez. Duke Robinson had 1 point in this game. Leonard Robinson didn't really do much in this game. Yeah, just tough for Miami. They couldn't really, make things happen after that hot start. The 3-point shots wasn't falling. They weren't rebounding. Cleveland got a lot of second chance opportunities and offensive rebounds and stuff. It just out-hustled Miami, which is a rare thing to see. Next, we have Warriors and Thunder. The Thunder won this game 138-136 in overtime. What a great game this was. OKC goes to 14-7. Warriors fall to 10-12. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams in this overtime really took over. And Warriors just a lot of turnovers, a lot of mistakes, and not great offense. Team stats: OKC shot 52% for the field. Warriors shot 47%. The crazy thing is the 3-point disparity. OKC hit just 5 threes. They were 5 for 29 from 3. Warriors were 19 for 48. But the free throw line, Thunder were 31 for 36. Warriors were 19 for 23. And the turnovers. Thunder had just 9 turnovers in this game. The Warriors had 28 turnovers. Damn near 30 turnovers in a game, you're not going to win. Even though the Warriors did out-assist the Thunder and out-rebounded the Thunder, Thunder had 17 steals and 7 blocks, forced 28 turnovers. I mean, you're just not going to win games like that, you know. For OKC, Shea, 38, 5 and 5 with 5 steals, shot 15 for 30 from the field. Dominating this game. The mid-range pull-up is nasty from him. Even though he got off to a really rough start shooting the ball, he didn't let that deter him, you know, and he wasn't really getting a lot of calls that he usually does. Even though he did shoot 11 free throws, there's a lot of calls that usually he didn't get. But he still came in, you know, dominated this game like a star does, you know. But Jalen Williams, J-Dub, what a game he had. 28 points, shot 12 for 15, 3 steals. He was dominating that mid-range game, you know. The fourth quarter with Shea, because Shea wasn't really shooting the ball well, they're just giving the ball to Jalen Williams. Say, here, J-Dub, take us home. You know, and he was just, every time he got a switch on Steph or Clay, or even Wiggins once or twice, he just went right on him with a big body and just the little, either a layup or a fadeaway mid-range, and it was just in. You know, it's just a great basketball player. Chet also had 21 and 7 with 3 blocks. He had some big plays in this one. Lou Dort had 16 points, and Casey Wallace off the bench had 10 points. Great win from OKC, even though they weren't shooting the ball super well, you know, from 3. Even though they're one of the more efficient teams shooting the ball from the field and from 3. They came in, did their thing, forced a lot of turnovers, locked in defensively, and hit the big shots they needed to. J-Dub, Shea, and Chet hit the big shots they needed to. For Golden State, 34 for Steph, shot 10 for 26 for 12 from 3. Got some tough shots late in this game. But after that, Kuminga had 24 and 12. He had a good game. 22 for Clay. He had 4 threes. The Warriors had 7 players scoring double figures, which is great for them. You know, like Draymond, 12, 5, and 13. 12 for Wiggins, 12 for Brandon Pajemski, 11 and 12 for Dario Saric. That was mostly in the first half, though. The first half was really good, but then the third quarter, Thunder outscored the Warriors 33-22. The third quarter Warriors, the narrative has flipped. Usually, when you talk about the third quarter Warriors, you're like, third quarter Warriors were one of the more dominant teams the last few years. Once they get in the third quarter, the Warriors, that's when they pulled away. But this year, it's been the opposite. I feel like the third quarter has been the downfall of the Warriors. Like, they've had good first half. It's just they come out of the locker room and they just can't get anything going. You know, and then allow teams to come back, and then they have to, you know, fight to come back, you know. But yeah, the offense in the late fourth quarter and overtime was not good. Even though the numbers say they put up 136, they had 7 players scoring double figures. It didn't feel like that watching this game late. Clay hit a big shot, but wasn't really doing much. Draymond fouled out. You know, Andrew Wiggins just doesn't look the same. I don't know what happened to him. John Kuminga, he was solid. He also fouled out, though. He was just kind of beelining towards the rim and trying to make something happen. The war really was just, here, Steph, hit some shots, hopefully, and save us. And Steph did sometimes, but he can't do everything, you know. And OKC, and the turnovers, man. And so many of them are just like, it's not even just they were getting ripped up, even though they kind of were. It was just like bad passes and like just doing too much. Like, there's so many plays where, like, there's one late in the fourth quarter where Draymond, or was it Steph? Or someone was at the top of the key. I think it was Wiggins was at the top of the key. Curry was on the wing, and Draymond was going to set a screen for Curry to come off the screen. But Draymond set the screen too late, and so Wiggins expected Steph to come off the screen, but he wasn't there, so he threw it out of bounds. There's another one where it was Steph in overtime, and Steph was trying to get an easy leak out and find Clay, but he just, like, beelined the pass, and Jalen Williams took it. There's another one in overtime late, when it was like an 8-point game, and the Warriors really needed something. Draymond and Steph were, like, they got the rebound, and Draymond was going to push it up to Steph, but Steph wasn't pushing, so Draymond just threw the ball out of bounds. Like, it's just so many turnovers that's, like, they're just, like, trying to play too fast. They're trying to, like, just do too much. That's what most of a lot of these turnovers are just, like throwing the ball out of bounds, expecting someone to be there when it wasn't there. You know, again, trying to push the ball up forward, and they're not on the same page. It's just, like, communication and, like, chemistry turnovers. You know, it's just not great over there. But shout out to OKC. They got the good win. I feel like this team's already played like 5 times already. These teams played each other so much. But OKC has been doing it, you know. Next we have the Bulls and the Spurs. The Bulls win this game 121-112. They have a big third quarter, outscoring San Antonio 35-20. The Bulls now are 9-14. They've won 4 games in a row, man. Chicago is on the come up. They're only a game out of the play-in right now with the Spurs. They fall to 3-18. They have now lost 16 games in a row. Tough one for the Spurs as well. Team stats, both teams shot about the same from the field, same from 3. The Bulls did force 12 San Antonio turnovers and out-rebounded them 56-44, including having 24 offensive rebounds. They were on the glass. For the Bulls, they had 4 players score over 20. Kobe White was the leading scorer, 24, 4, and 6, shot 9 for 15, 5 for 7 from 3. Vucevic had 21 and 16, 26 and 10 for DeMar DeRozan, even though he had a tough shooting day, was just 7 for 24, 6 for 10 from the free throw line. He hit big shots and it mattered. And then Patrick Williams, 20 and 6, shot 8 for 11. Torrey Craig also was big. He had 16 points. He had 5 threes. He turned up in the fourth quarter in a bunch of threes. Alex Caruso, unfortunately, did get hurt in this game. Only played in 18 minutes. Hopefully, it's not a serious injury. But yeah, the Bulls have been playing really good without Zach LaVine. You know, Kobe White has taken a step. Patrick Williams looks like a good player now. You know, DeMar DeRozan and Vucevic are getting there when they get theirs. You know, like they've just been playing with a lot more energy, a lot more fun in Chicago, man. And maybe this is a turning point for them. You know, maybe this is. I still want them to trade players. You know, don't get too crazy, because if they do start winning games a lot more, they're not going to trade anybody. I don't want that. I want them to trade, besides Zach LaVine. But like, you know, they're playing a lot better. They're playing a lot better, a lot more energy, and yeah, it's been the most fun they've had in a little while. You know, for San Antonio, Wemby, 21, 20, and 4 with 4 blocks, 8 for 20. The youngest player to ever have a 20-20 game. Yeah, just really good out there. Didn't shoot well. It was 8 for 20, 0 for 4 from 3. But he's doing all the things, rebounding the ball very well. Of course, defensively, you know, he can bring as well. But yeah, he had a solid game. 20 and 5 assists for Keldon Johnson. Trey Jones, 18 and 9 assists off the bench. 12 for Zach Collins off the bench now. They're making a lineup changes. Malachi Branham started in this game. I don't know why. But he had 10 points and Denver Vassell 11 points. He had a bad shooting night though. 4 for 15, 1 for 9 from 3. Yeah, like I said in another video, the Spurs video is coming soon. I don't know when, because there's so many other things I want to talk about besides the Spurs. But the Spurs video, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go more in depth on that, you know. Next, we have the Kings and the Suns. The Kings win this game 114-106. Sacramento outscores Phoenix 33-12 in the third quarter. Phoenix had a big fourth, but they just could not overcome it. De'Aaron Fox, 23 points in the fourth quarter. Kings now go to 12-8. Suns fall to 12-10. Team stats: Phoenix shot 48%. Sacramento shot 46%. The Kings out-rebounded the Suns 50-48, including 15 offensive boards in the second half. Really was the thing. De'Aaron Fox, 34, 4, and 7, shot 11 for 24, 4 threes. Just put up 23 in the fourth quarter. The reigning clutch player of the year, trying to make another case for it. Just dominated. No one on the Suns really could stop him. You know, Domantas Sabonis, 15, 7, and 5. The bench was big too for Sacramento. You know, Sasha Vezenkov, 14 points, 3 steals. He had a couple threes. 13 and 6 assists for Malik Monk. 10 for Keon Ellis. You know, and Keegan Murray also had 13 points in this game. But yeah, the bench for Sacramento was big. And then, yeah, De'Aaron Fox is a monster. You know, for the Suns, they did not have Kevin Durant in this game. Just Devin Booker by himself. Devin Booker, 28, 7, and 7, shot 10 for 14. Just didn't really get much help. You know, Eric Gordon had a solid game. He had 19 points. Nurkic shot 15 and 9. But yeah, after that, didn't really get much help from anyone else. You know, yeah, the bench didn't really do much. Josh Okogie, KDB, Diop were just kind of out there, not really doing much. You know, and the Kings their Kings offense just took advantage, and the Suns just could not do anything in that third quarter, man. Just a disappointing third, and they just couldn't overcome it, you know. Next, we have the Rockets and the Nuggets. The Rockets win this game 114-106. They outscored Denver 40-26 in the third. Did have a rough stretch in the fourth where they went like 6 minutes without scoring. The Nuggets almost made it to come back, but the Rockets put this game away. They go to 10-9. Nuggets fall to 14-9. Nuggets have lost 3 games in a row. Team stats: Houston shot 43% from the field, Denver shot 42%. The Rockets hit 13 threes, Nuggets hit 10 threes. The Rockets were 31 for 42 from the free throw line, Nuggets were 20 for 27. Yeah, for Houston, Fred VanVleet, 26 points for 3 assists, shot 6 for 17, 10 for 13 from the free throw line. He was getting to the line, man. Getting to the line, especially late in that game. You know, trying to get some points off the board. Jalen Green had a big second half, 25 points, shot 8 for 17. Alperen Sengun, 17, 7, 7, a great game from him. Then Dylan Brooks had 16, and Jabari Smith Jr., 10 rebounds in this one. Great win from Houston. You know, they've already played Denver, 4 times already, and I think they've won almost all of them. You know, Fred VanVleet getting to the line, being the vet he is. Jalen Green, you know, letting the offense come to him a lot more and getting his buckets. Alperen Sengun being amazing. Dylan Brooks hitting some shots. All the other guys like Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, Aaron Holiday, Jeff Green, you know, contributing in little ways here and there. And yeah, man, the Rockets, they're balling. You know, they're back over 500, 10-9. They finally won a road game. I think this is their first road win of the season, you know, which is a good thing for them. But yeah, for Denver, Nikola Jokic, 23, 16, and 5, 9 for 26. The last 2 games, he shot, 18 for 50-something from the field. I don't know what happened. He just doesn't know how to score anymore. Yeah, not a great game for him. One of his worst games of the season, obviously. 21 for Jamal Murray, 20 and 8 for Michael Porter Jr., 14 for KCP, 13 for Payne Watson off the bench. Yeah, Denver just doesn't really looking good right now. Lost 3 in a row. You know, Jamal Murray's still getting back into play. Nikola Jokic isn't shooting the ball well right now. You know, they're not really getting much contribution from their young bench either. You know, even though Payne Watson did have a solid game last night. But, you know, again, we're not really worried about the Nuggets. You know, just going through a rough stretch like everyone does throughout the season. But the Rockets, man, got a lot of credit to the Rockets, man. They're coming up against the reigning champs and they're balling. You know, they're playing really, really good basketball. Next are the Mavs and the Blazers. The Mavs win this game 125-112. I thought this was going to be another game like the Utah game where Mavs just blow them out. But Portland, you know, credit to them. They really hung in this game to the very end until Dallas outscored them 28-22 in the fourth quarter. Mavs go to 13-8. They're third in the West now. Trailblazers fall to 6-15. Team stats: Dallas shot 52% from the field. Portland shot 37% from the field in this game. For Dallas, Luka Doncic 32, 6 and 10, shot 11 for 28. Went off to a hot start. I think he had 14 or 16 in the first quarter, and then kind of slowed down. But in the fourth quarter, he really took over and dominated this game. Dante Exum as well, blast from the past. Dante Exum started in this game, 23, 6 and 7, shot 9 for 15, 2 for 2 from 3. Yeah, he came in and changed the game. Had a lot of energy. You know, on both ends. Defensively, he was doing his thing. Offensively, getting his when he can get his. You know, passing the ball. Like, Dante Exum was playing. And then Tim Hardaway Jr. also had 20 points. He had 4 threes off the bench. Derrick Jones had 14 and 8. Garrett Lively 10 and 9. Unfortunately, Kyrie Irving did get injured in this game. Didn't look good at all. It looked very bad. Dwight Powell fell on his leg. Reports saying he exited the game in a wheelchair, left the arena. Hopefully, it's nothing serious. Hopefully, you know, that would be very tough to have right now for Dallas. But, you know, still came in there, still won this game. You know, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dante Exum, the big X factors. For Portland, Anthony Simons 30, 5 and 8, shot 10 for 21. He kind of took over from the second quarter on, man. He can ball. He can ball. He's got one of the most, aesthetically pleasing games. Like, if you watch Anthony Simons, you're like, dang, that dude can ball. You know, but yeah, he had a big game in this one. He's back now, passing the ball, scoring, you know. It just shows how important he is to this team. Because the last 2 games he's played, and they've been very competitive, you know. So, yeah, it just shows if he was here the whole season, they probably would be better. I'm not saying there would be a playoff team or anything, but they would look a lot better because he's a big part of that team. Shane Sharp, 24, 9 and 5. Shot 7 for 15 from this game. 14 and 9 for Toumani Camara. And then Diop Reed, Scoot Henderson, Jabari Walker all had 10 points in this one. But yeah, Portland going with the young guys. Jeremy Grant hasn't played in a few games. DeAndre Ayton hasn't played in a few games. Michael Brogdon didn't play in this game. They're going with the younger guys, and you know they're being competitive. The last 2 games have been competitive. Last game against the Warriors, they could have won that game. They probably should have won that game. But Steph Curry was just beat Steph Curry. You know, but last 2 games they've been really competitive. You know, and the final game we had Clippers and Jazz. The Clip on ESPN, which I don't know why random ESPN game. But the Clippers win this game 117-103. They go now to 11 and 10. They're over 500. They won 3 games in a row. The Jazz fall to 7 and 15. Looking at team stats, the Clippers shot 49% from the field. Utah shot 45%. The Clippers hit 15 threes. Utah only hit 9 threes. For the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard 41, 5 and 5, shot 14 for 23, 6 for 8 from 3. Kawhi hasn't really been having an amazing season, like a Kawhi Leonard type year. He's been okay, but he hasn't been Kawhi, you know. But this game, he came out right from the get-go. He had 14 in the first quarter, dominating this game. Utah did not have an answer for Kawhi the entire game. He just get it to his spots, hitting his shots. The 3 ball was falling, just doing whatever he wanted out there. You know, kind of getting himself a get-right game. Being like, you know, all right, come out, have a big game. Maybe from here on now we can see Kawhi dominate and ball. But he had a great game. 20 for Paul George, 18 and 12 for Zubac. He was big in this one. 12, 7 and 8 for James Harden, 10 for Terrence Mann, 10 for Norman Powell. But yeah, the Clippers are starting to find their rhythm. They won 3 in a row. They're back over 500. You know, Paul George is playing really well. James Harden's kind of starting to fit in a little bit more. You know, Norman Powell's starting to hit shots. You know, and Kawhi's starting to be like Kawhi. It's gonna get even more dangerous. You know, for Utah, John Collins at 20 and 13 with 2 steals and 4 blocks. John Collins has actually been really solid in Utah. You know, he hasn't been anything outstanding, but he's been very solid. He's finding a role. He out-rebounds the ball crazy on the offensive end. Defensively, he's there. The 3 ball has kind of been on and off, but John Collins has been pretty solid as a Jazz member. 15 for Keontae George, 15 and 5 assists for Taylor Horton Tucker, and then 13 for Kelly Olynyk and Colin Sexton. Walker Kessler also had 12 rebounds and 4 blocks in this game. Yeah, Lauren Markkinen hasn't played. I don't know why. I don't know if he's injured or not. To me, I don't really keep up with Utah Jazz like that, so I don't know. But, you know, they fought. The one thing I'll give the Jazz is that when they're on TV, they compete. Even though they're not a really good team, the game against the Suns on ESPN, that was a great game. Like, they show up. They show up to play. Well, I say that they did lose by 50 to the Mavs the other day. But the thing about Utah, Will Hardy, this team fights hard and competes. They're not a bad team that just wants to be bad. That gets blown out every other day. Of course, you're gonna have a blowout here and there because the talent of this team. But one thing I give them credit for is they come out and they fight. They fight. They don't get embarrassed all the time. And yeah, when they're on TV, they show up. They show up and ball. So that's a lot of credit to them. But the Clippers, they're starting to find a rhythm. And yeah, we'll see, how they keep playing. But yeah, it's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. We got the in-season tournament championship game tonight. Lakers, Pacers. That's gonna be a great game. That's gonna be the video tomorrow, talking about that game and the in-season tournament in whole, probably. But yeah, once again, if you like the content, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. Really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. Again, we're almost at 400 subs. We're only a handful away. So if you would hit the subscribe button, it really, mean a whole lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.